Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to the University of Michigan. I am Dr. Okunlami. I use he, him, his pronouns and go by Dr. O, and I'm the Director of Student Accessibility and Accommodation Services here at the University of Michigan. I first want to congratulate each and every one of you for your admission to the University of Michigan. As a proud alum, I went to medical school here. I know that this is an honor, and it's probably very exciting for all of you and your parents, if your parents are joining, as you look forward to matriculating here this coming fall or next fall or in the winter, wherever you're choosing to join us. We want to then present this portion to you, what we titled Disability Inclusion at U of M and Student Accessibility and Accommodation Services. Today, I have different members of our office and my team that will be going through a couple of the aspects of what we do in our office and talk to you about what we're trying to do here at the University of Michigan, then make sure that each of you has equitable access to the Michigan experience that all of your colleagues have. So to talk a little bit about our office and the office structure, as I said, we're called Student Accessibility and Accommodation Services. And what that means is that we have our adaptive sports and fitness program, our Office of Services for Students with Disabilities, and we have 2 testing accommodation centers. With me today, I have Mr. Alan Sheffield, who is the Associate Director of Student Accessibility and Accommodation Services. He will tell you a bit more about his work, but he primarily oversees our SSD office and then our testing accommodation centers. We also have Mr. Eric Rebesniks, who is the Assistant Director of our Adaptive Sports and Fitness program. And then we have Ms. Courtney Toddy, who is one of the leaders of our academic support programs. So to give you the vision of what we're hoping to do here at the University of Michigan, we recognize that students come to us from all different walks of life, and that students with disabilities have just as much of a right to have equitable access to the Michigan experience. As an individual who I give a visual description as well as a young to middle-aged Black man with brown skin, I have dark rimmed glasses, short black hair. I'm sitting here in my office chair in an office with a collared shirt and a wooden bow tie. And in my background, you can see my white coat and some fake plants because I can't keep real plants alive. Now, that is something we do as a visual description, not just to be funny, but because we recognize that in order for full participation, things such as a visual description where people can see who's presenting, can see the slides that we're discussing, that is an element that then allows full participation. And so the goal of what we are doing here at the University of Michigan is trying to make sure that regardless of whatever disability you may have, whether it is blind or low vision, whether you are deaf and hard of hearing, whether you have a physical disability such as mobility, whether it's mental health, whether it's chronic health, that any of these things that you may choose to identify with, that any barrier that then you experience on the basis of disability does not limit you from having equitable access to the same Michigan experience that all students have. And our goal here is to truly revolutionize the landscape of higher education and make sure that every part of your education here, whether it's your academic experience, your co-curricular or extracurricular experiences, provide you with that equitable access to make sure that you have what this educational experience is at Michigan. That is what we call the leaders in the best. And so without taking too much time up, we do have a very short video that I want to show you that is going to show you a little bit more about what it is that we do here in our office. So we'll play that video.
Having a disability does not limit you from enjoying all aspects of your Wolverine experience. At U of M or University of Michigan, the Office of Services for Students with Disabilities, also known as SSD, offers a diverse range of academic accommodations, innovative resources, and technology to support you academically. There is no deadline to apply for SSD services. We are always here to advocate for students, as well as support faculty and staff who are looking to create accessible and inclusive learning environments. Who can request academic accommodations? Any student identifying with a disability, such as mental health disorders, ADHD, ASD, chronic health conditions, speech and language impairments, a learning disability, mobility, and visual impairments are all encouraged to apply. Students who experience a temporary disability, such as a broken hand, concussion, or mental health crisis, can also apply with SSD. Our campus is equitable and inclusive. SSD offers academic support programming, media captioning and transcription services, screen reading and speech to text software options, and adaptive technology such as products with support note taking, adjustable chairs, and adjustable heightwork surfaces to accommodate wheelchairs. And yes, accommodation support is available even when you study abroad. We award more than $10,000 in scholarships and grants each year to help disabled students with tuition, fees, and other expenses. Students can find executive functioning skills support, academic accountability, and innovative learning strategies through SSD's academic support programming. We also support your physical fitness and wellness in partnership with the Adaptive Sports and Fitness Program. Whether you are an undergraduate, graduate, or a student enrolled in a professional program and identify as having a disability, or if you feel like there is a barrier to having an equitable experience on our campus, you can receive support and accommodations. To learn how to apply for academic accommodations through SSD, visit us at ssd.umich.edu and get connected to an SSD staff member so we can help you identify reasonable and appropriate accommodations.
So that gives you just a quick overview of the different things that we have here in our office. Now, as we go through the presentation, we will have time for questions at the end, but please feel free to use the Q&A feature right now and ask any questions that you have throughout as well. And we will do our best to then address the questions as they come in. So the first individual that's going to take over after this, as I said, is Mr. Eric Rebesniks, our Assistant Director of Adaptive Sports and Fitness, to tell you more about those programs. Take it away, Eric.
Thank you for the introduction, Dr. Okunlami, and it is a pleasure to be here this evening to share about the work that we're doing in adaptive sports and fitness and how you'll be able to benefit from these programs. As Dr. O mentioned, my name is Eric Rebesniks. I'm the Assistant Director of Adaptive Sports and Fitness. I'm a young white male, go by he, him, his. I have short brown hair, and I'm wearing a navy blue collared dress shirt with a University of Michigan Adaptive Sports and Fitness logo on the chest. So the reason why we created Adaptive Sports and Fitness at the University of Michigan is to really create opportunity for people with disabilities and without disabilities to engage in physical activity, fitness, recreation, and competitive sport programming. But overall, we recognize that access to sport and using sport as a vehicle for change can be a tool to talk about disability, can be a tool to talk about accessibility in a much broader sense within the University of Michigan and within society and culture more broadly. So as a result, we're not just about delivering sport opportunities and we're not just about delivering fitness opportunities, but rather using sport and fitness as a vehicle to increase knowledge and awareness and access and participation as it relates to adaptive sports and fitness with and without disabilities, with a further agenda to talk about accessibility, to talk about disability, and talk about the intersectionality of disability as it then impacts the student life experience. Next slide, please. So adaptive sports and fitness, as I mentioned, is a very broad program. It's not just about sports. We then pursue various other initiatives and projects that kind of capture the spirit of what we are trying to do as a program and fulfill our vision. Now on the screen, there is a pinwheel graphic that summarizes the 5 key areas of our program with the Adaptive Sports and Fitness logo at the center. At the top left, we have an arrow pointing towards the Adaptive Sports and Fitness student group. This is a student group made up of undergraduate and graduate students at the University of Michigan who are then embarking on and taking on projects and initiatives and volunteer opportunities to then promote adaptive sports, to raise awareness among the student body, to work with other student groups, to bring disability as part of that narrative and bring the intersectionality of health and wellness and talking about disability from that perspective. The second branch of the program is called Prescription to Play. Prescription to Play is aimed at addressing and integrating adaptive sport, fitness, and physical activity as part of the medical system within Southeast Michigan, and specifically Michigan medicine as well. Recognizing that we have an opportunity to bring sport and fitness at the forefront as part of the inpatient, outpatient rehabilitation process and community integration piece. A lot of our pre-med students are very interested in this initiative and get involved in these projects. And if this is a path that you are interested in, I invite you to reach out to us as well to see if you want to get involved in this initiative. Third is the Adaptive Sport and Inclusive Recreation Initiative. The Adaptive Sport and Inclusive Recreation Initiative aims to embed adaptive sport as part of the physical education curriculum in Ann Arbor Public Schools to make kids and teachers with and without disabilities more aware and get them participating in adaptive sports opportunities from a younger age, to normalize disability and to get people playing with each other, peers and students and brothers and friends and sisters alike through the school system. And again, a lot of students via our student group and other volunteers are involved in this initiative as well. Then we have our adaptive fitness component. Whether you are someone that's just looking to go to the gym to work out, or whether you're an athlete training for your sport, we can provide fitness opportunities through our strength and conditioning coach and various programming that we have there. And then lastly is our adaptive sports branch of the program. We offer recreational and competitive wheelchair tennis, track and field, and wheelchair basketball. We run drop-in programming one to two times per week for each of these sports. And we also offer varsity programming if you're interested in taking the sport to the next level and competing and representing the University of Michigan in one of these sports. We also have connections to a local company called Therapeutic Riding Inc. In case you're interested in doing para-equestrian or any para-equine related activities, we would be happy to facilitate those connections as well. Next slide, please. On this slide, you will see an array of pictures that capture the Adaptive Sports and Fitness program and its members and student volunteers and coaches and program staff and all the people that make this program a wonderful place and wonderful service for the students at the University of Michigan. It captures wheelchair athletes, it captures ambulatory athletes, it captures people with and without disabilities, because really, again, as a program, we're promoting the fact that adaptive sports are for everyone. If you can sit, you can play. And we think that there's a lot of benefit that is derived from people participating in adaptive sports. And we encourage you to come out, and we hope to see you in the fall at some of our drop-in programming, or perhaps even on one of our competitive teams. So thank you for the opportunity to speak to you all. I will now pass it over to my colleague, Courtney Toddy, to then talk about academic support programs.
All right, thanks, Eric. So good evening, everyone. My name is Courtney Toddy, and I am an academic coach here in the SSS office. Today, I am wearing a brown knitted sweater. I have long Black braids. I am an African-American woman, and my pronouns are she and her. And I am happy to be here this evening to talk with you about our academic support program. So over the next few minutes, I can share with you what our academic supports are available through the Office of SAAS. So our academic resources are designed to support the educational experiences of students here at the university. There are three main support students can find through SAAS. One of those being academic coaching, the other being PASS, which also stands for our peer-assisted study sessions, and then also a program called Coaching Corner, which consists of a series of workshops throughout the semester and each subsequent semester after that. So these educational initiatives are focused on building and strengthening executive functioning skills, learning strategies, as well as helping students to identify strengths that create healthy habits for greater self-efficacy, as well as support in navigating campus. In our academic coaching program, students will find one-on-one support to help develop executive functioning skills such as time management, organization, as well as prioritizing tasks. Our next program, which is PASS, or peer-assisted study sessions, provide a structured study time for students that also creates accountability and helps to build a sense of community among our neurodiverse students. As mentioned earlier, our Coaching Corner program provides workshops for students and gives them the opportunity to engage with a number of our campus partners throughout the year that promote healthy study habits, well-being, and career preparation. Many of our students who engage in our academic supports find them extremely helpful in their studies. And so in the slide, as it indicates here, each year, we provide about 466 hours of past sessions for our students to participate in. In these sessions, students have shared that they feel more motivated to move through their tasks, to get things completed, less overwhelmed. A lot of them find that this support provides support for them to be to provide manageable resources to help with tasks and moving through their course material. Other students who participate in our academic coaching sessions have shared that their top 3 improvement areas are time management, organization, and again, task prioritization. In a word cloud, here's some of the feelings that students have expressed in terms of using our support services look like improvements or a sense of well-being, accountability or a sense of accountability, feeling supported on campus, also that they can find support, that they've seen significant improvements, that they've been able to move through classes and matriculate from year to year in using our supports. So with these programs, we hope that you are able to take advantage, come see us early. And if you'd like to sign up, please use our website to learn more information. At this time, I would like to introduce our Associate Director, Alan Sheffield, to discuss academic accommodations. Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney. And I can't speak enough about the great work that Courtney and her team are doing when it comes to academic support. This is a program that I have not seen its like at any institution I've ever been. So I thank you for taking the time to share. And so my name is Alan Sheffield, the Associate Director of Student Accessibility and Accommodation Services. I know we're throwing a lot of acronyms at you, but that's why we're here, is to help you realize what are services that we offer so that you can connect to us when you're ready. So I am going to be talking a little bit about academic accommodations. First, I can talk a little bit about myself. I am a white male with thinning, balding hair, rapidly approaching, if not already reached, middle age. I'm sitting in an office that has various things I've gathered through my years of working in higher education, including a picture that students have taken and an I love you placard. It's ASL for I love you, with pictures of students. And I've worked with over the years in various capacities. And so I have the opportunity to speak to you today about academic accommodations. And first frame the conversation with identify as being disabled. So I've had a hearing loss all my life. I know what it was like to come into my undergraduate setting where my parents brought me into a meeting before school ever started, a meeting I did not want to be at, and had no idea what was going on. And it wasn't until I was a junior until I reached back out to the office when I finally hit that point where I was like, okay, now I can't do it on my own. So I get that. I've been there. That's helped drive the work that I've done in this field. And so talking about academic accommodations, I want to share the mission of SSD, which is embedded in the strategic plan of the University of Michigan, is a commitment to ensure equal opportunity for all individuals. Services for Students with Disabilities, SSD, recognizes disability as an integral part of diversity and is committed to creating an inclusive and equitable educational environment for disabled students. SSD is a partner to students, faculty, and staff in the pursuit to develop leaders and citizens who will challenge the present and enrich the future. We believe in what the University of Michigan offers. We believe in the experience and what it means to be a University of Michigan student. And we believe that every student should have the opportunity to benefit from what this university offers. We're partners in working with the university to do that. We're not here because we think there's anything wrong with the individuals that come to us. We're here because to be human is to be different. Our bodies, minds, work, and how we perceive the world work differently, and we perceive the world differently. And so when we're here talking with you, sorry, we're looking at, I find this is an image that's helpful. We have two images side by side with three individuals watching a soccer match. Each of the three individuals is different. And so I have various height and what we can perceive to be like color and gender, potentially, like, and how they how we portray to us. So when we look at them, we also have one person who is using a wheelchair, and they're trying to watch a game, a soccer match. There's a fence between them and the match, but in the first picture, we've given every one of them a box, and so one single box to stand on in order to see over the fence. Person on the left did not need that box. They're able to see over the fence. Person in the middle, who is shorter, was able to use the box to see the game. And the person on the right, who's in a chair, is unable to see the box, is still looking at the fence. In the second picture, we've actually moved towards trying to provide accommodations. So what people need in order to accomplish the goal, which is to see the game. So the person on the left does not have a box. The person in the middle has two boxes in order to see easily over the fence. And the person on the right has a ramp going up to the fence in order to see over. So now we've given accommodations as necessary in order to see the game. Doesn't have any impact on the game itself. But we have an opportunity for them to have full participation. And so, and then that's what we do at our office. We as an office are working with the university to provide access and accommodations to the university academic experience so that students have the ability to participate. Our goal is to move and figure out where the barriers are to remove them, so accommodations are not necessary. So that would be changing the fence so that it can be see-through if it's integral to what's happening. It could be removing the fence. And so we worked with the community to reach that goal, but as we do that, we have accommodations. And so, okay. So one of the things we're going to talk about is the process, to make sure that you know how you connect with us. So we do have an initial process to establish accommodations, and I sum it up with as simple as connect with us. Go to our website, ssd.umich.edu, and fill out our initial information form. This will allow us to know that you are interested in learning more information, and set it up so that you can schedule an appointment at your convenience so that you connect with our office. We then will have what I summarize as information sharing gathering. You as the student have essential information that we will not be able to get from anyone else or anywhere else. So we want to take the time to have a conversation with you. We want to hear about what are the barriers you're experiencing. And so we'll gather that information through a meeting with you and documentation that you might provide. And so then the next step will be a review. We'll take a look at the accommodations that you've identified, the barriers you have identified, potential accommodations to figure out what would be reasonable and appropriate in order for you to have access. And then we'll communicate with you. And so this process is what should and needs to happen in order for you to be able to receive accommodations of the academic environment. So there are some typical questions that we get in an event like this. So I want to take a few moments just to answer some before we open it up. So often we want to know how this process works. So I just laid out the piece, but I want to make sure it's clear that students drive the process. And so while a student can have a parent with them, nothing happens without the student. And so I want to make sure that you know that you should connect with us. As a student, you drive the process. And then so people would like to know when they can start to connect with us or connect with our office. Now, we're already meeting with students for the fall. It is helpful if you've already engaged and have your orientation, so you have information about the program that you're going to be in, but we are already having conversations. And so please don't hesitate to reach out with questions to fill out the form so that we can then start having the conversation with you. People often like to know, is this the same thing as special education? Will my IEP transfer? And we unabashedly, like, this is not special education. We're in a completely different environment, different set of rules and laws. IEPs can be helpful to our conversation, but do not directly translate to the university environment. So we are first and foremost access. Dr. O laid the vision of what we are looking to accomplish. And in doing that, we're looking to work with the university community, with the student. And you, as a student driving the process, we're going to do implement things as you identify to us. So we're working with you in the environment, and that's different for everybody. So it's a case-by-case basis. And so we really want you to come reach out to us. If you decide that you're not comfortable with accommodations, you don't feel like they're necessary, okay, then nothing else will happen regarding this. Because you're the one who's saying, okay, you know what, I want to use accommodations here in this class for this year, this program. So if you have questions, connect with us. Two more pieces that we get, like, do you accept blank as documentation? And I say with anything, it depends. So my advice would be to provide us the information that you think might be useful, and then we'll talk, we'll review it, and then share back. Because there's no consistent standard for IEPs of what's included. It varies from school to school, student to student. There's no consistent standard about what medical documentation is. We do have a form that can be used to help provide guidance to a doctor or medical professional, appropriate professional, and they can welcome to use that. But if you already have something, go ahead and share it with us. Don't let concern about not having documentation or not being sure if what works stop you from engaging with us. And then finally, where do I go for non-academic accommodations? Because we have said several times that we're the academic accommodations team. So this is a large campus. We actually have on our website information about where housing, parking, paratransit, employment. So we have that on our website. So go ahead and come to ssd.umich.edu, where we've laid out some information for you. We have our video on there if you'd like to see that again. And then we also have our email on here. So for accommodations, ssdoffice@umich.edu. Academic support program is ssd/academic support@umich.edu. And adaptive sports and fitness is asfoffice@umich.edu. I will say first, our website is the best place to go for initial information. But since we don't have the opportunity to hear directly from you outside of the Q&A today, I want to make sure you have the opportunity to reach out to us if you have follow-up questions. And then I say thank you for your time. I'll pass it off to my colleagues if there's anything they'd like to wrap up. Dr. Okunlami, if you'd like to bring us home.
So just wanted to thank those of you that joined us today. We know that asking questions at a time like this may not be the time you have them, but we provided those email addresses for you to then reach out anytime after this. And one thing that we want you to know is coming to college can be scary for any student. But what we recognize is that in many of the spaces that we occupy, disability has not been seen as something that people are comfortable discussing, addressing, or then recognizing that disability does not make you less than. Disability does not make you different in a way that is negative. Disability here is something that's seen as an aspect of diversity, and it truly adds to the fabric and the community that we're building. But it doesn't then mean that disability does not provide a barrier that then we want to make sure that there is no barrier that we cannot provide you an accommodation to give you that same access. Now, I went through most of my life navigating the world without a disability, until I then experienced a spinal cord injury in my third year of orthopedic surgery residency. And so as I now navigate this world, this community, this campus as a proud wheelchair user, I look at this from a lens of seeing it just through the experience that I have, but recognizing that we are now a campus that sees the fact that we are trying to do everything we can to make sure that every student that comes to this campus has that same equitable access that they deserve. So this is just a little primer as to what it is that we do. And we don't see any questions here today, but as we said, please feel free to reach out after this. And we look forward to welcoming you here in Ann Arbor on campus in this fall. And most importantly, go blue.